What'd you do?
I don't know how I got this messed up.
I feel like this is pretty much like anybody's worst nightmare with building out a container. Is doing a cutout wrong.
All right, so as you can see, the window is in, and I got two more in this room. This is going to be a room full of windows pretty much, and there's going to be a bed right in the middle of that. So it's going to be a pretty cool little spot for anybody that stays here. But anyways, I got a 4x4 window over here on that wall, and then another 4x4 window right here behind me. But I do have a lot of rain forecasted today, so yes, I'm technically inside, but not really, because any rain that comes in just comes right in, since I don't have windows and it's not dried in yet. But anyways, let me get started before this rain does.
I just cannot get over how big these window cutouts are. Like, I know I keep saying it, but it's such a small room. Just the thought of being surrounded by the wilderness, it's gonna be pretty neat. So today we're gonna work on getting this window frame in here, and then Spencer's gonna do all the welding, cleaning it up, priming, that whole process. It's definitely pretty time consuming, so we'll see how far he's able to get, but still, like, one thing that I love about this process is even though each step does take a good bit of time, with each bit of work that he does get done, it's just like a huge transformation.
Why is this off?
Spencer, you're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
What are you saying?
Why is this off?
You're lying. You cut it wrong?
Yeah.
Baby, no.
No, I swear.
Oh no.
How did that happen?
I have no idea. Where's my phone? I need to look at the dimensions.
How off is it?
I don't know.
Lovey, this is like really bad. Like, we only have a limited amount of space,
Mom.
and this throws everything off.
Oh my god.
What'd you do?
I don't know how I got this messed up. It's supposed to be a 1 foot ½ inch, and it's at 17.5 inches. Why? I have no idea. I don't know how I did that.
Oh, babe.
I think I know what it is, because I needed a 1.5 feet, which that would have put it at 18 inches, and then I subtracted the 1/4 inch off of that corner. That's what it is. I saw 1.5 feet, and that's where I made my mistake.
So instead of doing 1 foot ½ inch, you did 1.5 feet.
Yeah, well, freaking SketchUp, it's like, I don't know how to change the dimensions to where I just have inches. Like, I'll type it in inches or whatever, it'll adjust accordingly. But if I go to make a measurement, like measure how my distance is to see how far things are from each other, it'll say like 1 foot 6 inches and ½ inch. And my brain apparently thought 1.5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the bad thing about the whole measurement system that we have. We have the standard, we have metric, we have Oh, also with standard, it's not only you have inches and feet, and then you combine the two, inches, feet, and then half inches or whatever. It just even it confuses the whole process. Like a metric system would be hands down 100% better. You would just have solid numbers. You couldn't mess it up. It literally, you couldn't mess it up.
So what you're saying is this isn't your fault?
No, this is the imperial system's fault. We should adopt the metric system. I mean, well, even automotive has started to adopt the metric system, so we just need to adopt it. Be like the rest of the world. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
It's true, I would have made this mistake if it...
Baby, you also wouldn't have made the mistake if you would have measured again.
No, it wasn't that. It was literally because it was 1 foot, ½ inch. If I would have read it was probably because I wasn't zoomed in enough on my thing. I just saw 1/2.
You can't just guess, you gotta zoom, you gotta verify.
I didn't guess. Like, no, look.
You know why this happened though?
Why?
I wasn't out here. The regional manager was not in the region. I feel like this is pretty much like anybody's worst nightmare with building out a container. It's doing a cutout wrong.
Yeah, but I think I can fix it. So yeah, I'm gonna make my opening the size it needs to be. Put my frame in, weld the frame in with the gap, the larger gap over here, because the door that's right next to it is literally butted up against this frame. So I'm just gonna then work on making this cutout for the door. And then once I weld that door into place, there'll still be a little hole up here, missing a little section. I'll just take some scrap shipping container and weld that in.
Sounds like a plan. What would a build be without a couple setbacks?
Right.
It's freezing!
Why do you think it's so cold?
Baby! Because it is.
Baby, it's like 60 degrees out.
No, it's not. It's like 30.
No. The truth is somewhere in the middle.
And wearing these spandex, it's like I'm pretty much pantsless at this point. Seriously, hurry.
Baby, can't rush perfection. All right, well, I got some good news and some bad news today. The good news is it's sunny and it's actually warmed up a little bit. The bad news is I have to completely cut this window out. So last night or yesterday, after I had cut it out, I realized that the cutout was not quite in the right spot. And I shifted it over, thought everything was perfect, and put the window in, and something still didn't seem right. So I went back to my measurements and I realized that my measurements, I had changed the dimensions to add for this door. So the photos that that I had screenshotted with my previous dimensions, I was going off of that and those were very wrong. So I have to cut this out. Good news is one side isn't welded at the moment because there's nothing to weld it to with that gap. But the bad side is that entire top completely welded, and then it's stitch welded along the side and bottom. So not very excited about this, but we'll have to cut it out and start over. And we're out.
I'll play my cards right, and maybe next time.
Yay! So how sure are you that this was right? Well, I don't think you could go over much further, so this has to be right.
Yeah. Third time's a charm, right?
Okay, can you make it all the way to the top? Oh my god.
Yay!
Good job. Can you go another one?
No, it's too high. It's too hard.
It's not too high, you can do it. This one should go really quickly since part of the cutout's already done. So today is a very special day because it's actually Bear Bear's birthday. I made him some little treats. They just have some oats, peanut butter, banana, and his favorite, pumpkin. I know it's kind of a weird combination, but I know he's gonna love them. Bear Bear, it's your birthday! It's kind of windy. Alright, just pretend the candle's lit. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Yay, Bear Bear!
Yay! Loves it. You are just the sweetest boy in the whole wide world. You've been with us since the beginning, bud. I love you.
I'm coming home to the great outdoors where the coyotes howl right outside your door. This land is made for you and me, not just to live, but to live free. I'm coming home.
Good as new.
I don't know about that, but
You'll hardly notice it once it's all painted.
yeah. I was trying to grind it down, but anytime I grind down the welds, I just made the thin metal like even thinner. I'd have a little pinhole, so I'd go back and weld that, and then I'd create a bigger hole, and just so it's a constant cycle. So I'm just leaving the welds at this point forward.
No, it looks good.
So ideally, I would have cut this hole perfect the first time around, but it was a small patch, maybe 2.5 inches by 9 inches, so it was not a big deal at all. So it works.
The next morning, we noticed something swimming very quickly in our pond. At first, I thought it was a snake, because we actually had this little guy swimming in the pond just a few days prior. Yep, that's a water moccasin. This time, however, it was something much cuter and far more friendly. 3 otters. I feel like it's really easy to watch this and think the process of doing cutouts and installing metal frames is relatively easy, but there's a lot more to it than I feel like we've explained. Unlike a traditional window frame, there's a couple more things that have to be taken into account. The first thing is the corrugation. Where a traditional building would have the straight edges of the wood to have the frames lined up perfectly with the wall, a shipping container has the corrugation of the steel, which makes it a bit harder to line the frame up with. Sometimes the frame falls on the ridge of the corrugation, and sometimes it falls in the valley of it. Oh yeah, and the corrugation on the end wall is different than it is on the side walls. Each window or door frame that he installs is totally different than the previous one. It's never the same. Also, with each cutout that he does, it's not uncommon for the metal below the window to bow out. So before he can start welding, he has to force the metal in order to make sure that everything is lined up properly and to verify that the wall and window will be plumb. He just has to take it one weld at a time until he's able to get it perfect. I feel like it's easy to just see time lapses like this and think it's a quick process, but there's definitely a lot more that goes into everything than I feel like we are able to explain in the moment. My point is, it's a lot of work, and mistakes are inevitable, and I think Spencer's doing an awesome job, especially for being a one-man show. Well, I mean, besides some minor assistance from his regional manager. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
One of them's looking right at me. I'm your friend. I can't believe how long they've been hanging out here.